Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to Craft Eccentricity. I hope you all had a fabulous weekend, and I hope not too many of you are currently buried in this very deep snow. So I hope that melts soon, and I hope most of you escaped it. And before I forget, this is my first and final video for this week. I'm taking off the Thanksgiving week, so I want to take this opportunity to wish everyone a very happy Thanksgiving. Now, what I'm doing today is paper cuts, and I've gone back into my personal haul. So I think I've finished cutting all of the ones that I received in my last personal haul. So I'm just going to show you what I did. I've cut the large Merry Christmas, which is a gorgeous size. I've done the bag topper, or it can even be a page tab. This one, which is a bag topper but can also be a page tab, or is certainly big enough if you've got one of those what you call them, the We Are Memory Keeper envelope scoreboards. You could make a little envelope, and that would make a really cute note card, a little folding note card. So I've done that. I've cut the snowstorm with a few little sort of like starry looking snows in there. Starry snows. I don't even know if that's a word. And that is another cute bag topper. So I've cut that one. I've cut the gorgeous little starry bag topper, perfect for Christmas but also great for birthdays. All you've got to do is put a little sentiment on there, you know, you're a star or something like that, just to tie it in and make it a birthday item. I've used the file folder holder hanger, whatever it is you want to call it. These are great for mini books. You just cut them, you can fold them in half, glue your page in up to the straight edge and bring that one over, and then just use a bunch of book rings to hold your whole book together. Or you can go to the top of the bag, pop it on and thread your ribbons through, so you've got a fancy little starry bag topper. So I've done that one. I've cut these out, which are absolutely gorgeous. Now, you have to look at the fence. I'm putting my finger there. I don't have particularly big hands, but look at that fence. Look at that fence post and look at the little tree. And they all cut out absolutely perfectly. Now, I left my windows out, but of course the windows pop out and you can colour those in and pop them back in, or you can just back them off with something else. You know, a little bit of tissue paper or napkin or vellum or anything you could put behind those, but really sweet. And who doesn't love a little house? The next one I did, this one was by request. People wanted to see this deer frame cut out. So this cuts in and it cuts out, but I'll explain that on the card. And as you can see, it's embossed with trees up the edges. It's also embossed with snow and cutouts of snow. You've got the reindeer that cuts out, and it's got Winter Wonderland on there, Let It Snow, and Baby It's Cold Outside embosses underneath the deer. So I did that one. And then going back to last week, which is when I did this stamp. So if I show this stamp again, I did that stamp in this set. What I've done this time is the other two stamps, and I've also used the dies that will match the stamps. So I've used that set again. Right, so let's get stuck in and do some measurements. Right, I've cut them out whole so that I can fold them, and this one is the star bag topper. So I'm going to fold this. You can see the score lines there, and then I'm just going to measure it. Right, how easy was that? Really, really easy. And you've got matching design both sides, and that's really nice because when you fold it and match it up accurately, it's going to look great on an acetate bag. Just really matchy, lovely. So that is the little bag topper, and when folded, I'm just reaching across for my ruler. you will have a bag topper that is down to the highest point of the star there, 2 7/8 of an inch, and then the width of that 2.5 inches. So as you can see, you know, if you wanted to put a necklace or a little pair of socks, you can imagine, you know, the top of the socks are going to fit into there, and you can just staple it if you want to, you know, with those plastic staples you can get. You usually see them in clothes holding labels and stuff on. So that is the little star bag topper. And then we have the book or file folder hanger, whatever it is you want to call it. And these are kind of, you know, the same similar design. So you can see you've got your embossing there between the circles, and that is where you fold. I'll try and get that one accurate. I've got quite a bit of humidity in my craft room. So I've got a little sheet of card here, which is probably too small to demonstrate, but that is basically what you would do. You would glue that and sandwich your page in between so that you're starry on both sides, and then this is where you put your book rings, and you just thread all your pages on, and it's just gorgeous. So I'm just going to measure the length of that, because the width of it doesn't really, or shall I say the depth of it, doesn't really matter. But you want to know how big a page you can get onto there. So that is 5 3/4 inches. So that's how big of a page you can make in height, but you can go as long as you want to off the edge. But just another gorgeous one. The next one that I cut is the Merry Christmas, because people wanted to see that cut out and they wanted the size of that one. So it's gorgeous. You know, it's just going to fill a card front. You haven't got to do anything else. Perhaps stamp a few snowflakes or something behind and emboss them. I mean, I've used craft cardstock for most stuff today because I love it and because I've got a load on my desk. Right, that is 3.5 inches wide. And then the height of that is 2.5 inches. So that's your Merry Christmas sentiment. Next up is the one that I said could be a page tab, a note card, or a bag topper. And I've actually used the little house set for this one. Just look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? You've got to look at that. I mean, put your finger in there and it just cuts out all the little, I don't know what you call them, the holes in the railings. It just does it. But score line again and get that and fold it on your score line. But if you can see what I mean, that is going to go onto the top of the bag. Obviously, you're going to use your, what's it called, your bone folder. Yeah, to get a nice smooth top, and not like I just did. But you could appreciate that that could be a little, you know, a 10-fold card, and folded in half. That is, let's have a look. Let's get it right to the edge there. That is 2 7/8 of an inch. And then on the widest point there is 2 5/8 of an inch. But you imagine that in a tiny little envelope, and maybe you've done it on watercolour cardstock so that you can, you know, really echo the fact that it's almost like a snow globe, snow domey behind. But if you've got it that way around, and where's my piece of paper gone again? You could totally see that, couldn't you? Because you could go right in at the border there where you've got this dash line, and you could stamp down your date or whatever the event is, and then you've got this chunky bit that's going to be a page tab. I absolutely love that. So you can just line it up with your stitching and just make a bunch of them. But it's multi-purpose, as I said, bag topper or a little tiny 10-fold card that looks like a snow dome. So I really love that. Did I just measure this? I can't remember. 2 7/8, because if I did, I'm doing it again. And 2 5/8. That's what happens when I start talking. I forget what I'm doing. And then you've got this one again, another bag topper, but it could also be a page tab, and you could sandwich, you know, your washi tape behind there, your different images behind there, just to give a really nice look to your book. Now, you can see the score line, but, you know, I'm using my hands when I should be using a bone folder. And I'm just going to try and find my way down that straight edge and squish it so that I can get a measurement. I probably haven't folded it accurately. In fact, I can see that I haven't, which is why you need your bone folder. Mine is not on the table at the moment, but I'm sure you can appreciate that. So as a bag topper, you know, you're holding it like that. But if it was a tab on a page and you've got gorgeous pretty washi tape or something in that window, or even acetate and a pressed flower or a leaf, it's just going to look really gorgeous. And you can glue it, you know, just beyond those little dots. I've got my scrap of white cardstock here. So, you know, you can kind of see. So if you've got that on a page, journal page, you can go just to those white dots. And then you've got that gorgeous, you know, idea of a page tab. I love this. Right, so size, we have 3.5 inches. And we have, whoop, let me squash that flat, 1 3/8 of an inch. So that's for that one. And then we've got the snowy circle, which is really sweet. And this is a bag topper. And obviously that bit pops up. I haven't poked that one out. I just noticed. Where's my poke tool? Here it is, because that will just drive me nuts. So I've poked that out. And then score lines again. It's important to always look at the score lines because you want to make sure it's a score and not a cut. So you've got that on the reverse and you've got that on the front. But isn't that pretty? Imagine this is your gift bag here. Ooh, that fits it actually. And you've just popped that on the top. Isn't that pretty? You could even use that and pop it on and tie it, and it could be a huge tag. Yeah, that just gave me that idea there. It could be a nice chunky tag to go on a gift bag. That is just really lovely. And then it's like that on the back. Isn't that nice? Love it. I love snowfally type piercing. Right, so when made up as is, that is 3 1/8 of an inch. And then the height of that is 2.5 inches. So that is your snowy bag topper. And then next up we have cards. And this is where I explain that one that I said cuts in and cuts out. And that is the deer card. Now, I use some of my metallic watercolours and just sploosh them around. And I'm trying to use up all of my stickles. So this is platinum stickles. And I just did the cutting in border and then the cutting in border here and left the other ones sort of like popped out. Those are the ones that cut out. But if you look at that, you can see you need to cut your base, which is the dark smoky grey silver one, the thickness that you want it to be, and then place your die on, which will emboss the square there around the edge. And it will cut into that portion. While it's cutting in, the inside bit, this bit here, is going to cut out, and that gives you a solid. So you don't have to have your deer on there. You can just stamp on this square here. But I've layered it up by putting the deer square on, which can also pop out. And then you don't have to have this piece here. So you can layer it up and do all kinds of stuff. But I just used watercolour cardstock. But there it is. Baby, it's cold outside. You've got Winter Wonderland or Winter Wonder World, which is German. And then you've got Let It Snow. And then the emboss for your trees. But it's just so pretty. I absolutely love that. And this card that I finished making is 5 by 5. So that's how big of a border that I kind of went with. Right, next up is the star strip, and I don't know why I haven't got that actually. Let me have a look on my desk. Oh, I understand now why I didn't put it on my desk. I think it's because I'd already paper cut this and measured it the other day, didn't I? Yeah, I did. So that's why I hadn't got it on my desk again. But I've made my card using that. And this is the slimline that it makes. And that is using the other two stamps that I didn't use. And once again, that was the third stamp in that set. And it just stamps and cuts absolutely beautifully. Look at those characters. He's got his glass of red wine. That's not me. And he's fallen over. And he's just throwing his arms up in the air. But just really easy to colour in. Absolutely gorgeous stamps. And I did show you last week, the thickness of those stamps is like rubber. Really good quality. I was quite surprised by it. I mean, I buy a lot of silicone AliExpress stamps, and they're okay because I've always got my little piece of foam in my stamp platform, and I always get a great stamp. But I was quite stunned that I had to use the rubber setting on my stamp platform to be able to stamp these because they were so thick and lovely. So that is, there we are, tilt it on the side there, foam underneath, and that is my little starry frame set, and also with those snowmen. So when you finish making this, the size of your slimline card is going to be, have a look, 8 inches, and then I've got it a bit wobbly in my hand here, 3.5 inches. I think that's right. Is that 3.5 or 3.25? 3.25 inches. So 8 by 3.25 is that slim line. And I just love that one. I think I'm going to give that one to my neighbour. Right, that is what I have got for you today. And as I said, I'm having the Thanksgiving. Now, I must tell you, before I go away, you have got the AliExpress. They're calling it the Big Black Friday event. And apparently there's a lot of coupons and stuff to grab right now. I don't know whether it's ongoing currently or whether it's just going to be for Friday. But I've got quite a few items in my basket actually because I'm going shopping with Piggy again, and I think there's already like $3 coupons and things like that in my cart. So I will go and look at that so that, you know, if I do decide to fall asleep on Friday, I haven't missed anything. Right, I thank you so much for watching. Have an absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous Thanksgiving. And I thank you so much for watching once again. And I'll see you next Monday. As usual, all links below. Bye.